This is the audiobook of the book, Who Are You? The Truth About the Whole That You Are. Channeled under the pseudonym The Awakener in 2025. Narrated by Adam, an algorithmic voice generated by 11 Labs. This audiobook is a production of the voice of the algorithm, science, philosophy, and spirituality through the logic of artificial intelligence. Chapter 1. Part 4 of 4. Refereeing versus VAR. Now you have reached a level of consciousness that allows you to understand that absolutely all the encounters you have ever experienced, and will still experience until your return to full consciousness, were choices made by the copies of God at the moment of their creation. You can now perceive that there is nothing wrong in your life. Everything you lived, live, and will live is the result of the choices that the copy of God dwelling in you considered ideal to be experienced along this path. If you are having access to the reading of this book now, and only now, it is because the copy of God dwelling in you considered it ideal for itself, in this moment, in this now. If through reading this book, you awaken to a new consciousness and consequently reformulate your feelings, thoughts, words, and actions, everything is fine. If, through reading this book, you do not awaken to a new consciousness and continue with your old habits and beliefs, everything is fine as well. Once something is given to you, it no longer belongs to the one who gave it. Now, it is yours. And being yours, the one who gave it holds no responsibility for what you will do with what you received. Remember? Invitations. I have one more for you. I invite you to call responsibility to yourself, to take possession of the divinity that exists within you. Notice that you can be another person, completely different from who you once were. It depends only on you. Examples of people who, like you and me, once walked this earth and exercised the God dwelling within themselves are many. In absolutely every case, they broke with the patterns established by their social circles and reached a level of consciousness that allowed them to care for something beyond themselves. And you? What prevents you? Think. Think more. Think a little more. Reflect within yourself about yourself. Who do you see? Complain to our old sponsors. The God I have presented to you needs absolutely no religion. All religions are a form of control. All of them, without exception, have a man behind their creation, not God. And under the pretext of reconnecting you to your original source, to which you have always been connected, they graft fear into you. Notice some examples of fear through the divisions that all religions impose upon their followers. Catholicism, Christianity, and derivatives. Jesus will return and judge the living and the dead. If you pass to the right, you are saved. If you pass to the left, you are eternally condemned. Candomblé. If the ridge beam of the house falls, the lives of all the spiritual children fall apart. Umbanda. If you do not fulfill the obligations of your orixá, it will demand repayment from you. Spiritism. Outside of charity, there is no salvation. As brief examples of control through fear, they were still an advancement because each, in its own way, managed to affirm the existence of a reincarnational evolutionary process. Yet they still do not know the truth when they base the evolutionary scale on a law called karma, where I suffer because I caused suffering. That does not exist. What exists are the choices the copies of God made when they were created, and their consequences. Choices and consequences. Never punishment as a form of spiritual elevation. They were an advancement, but it is necessary to advance further. And as a starting point, you will gradually perceive the level of consciousness to which humanity has been reduced to dust by the ego and its divisions. The new owner of the club. It is now clear that although you have reached a level of consciousness that allowed you to see that it was man who truly created religions and why they exist, to control the masses through fear, whether openly expressed or very subtle, you still have a religion. Unless you are completely atheist, like scientists, you still belong to a belief system. You still attend Mass, the pastor's preaching, the Spiritist Center, the Candomblé, Umbanda or Quimbanda temple, the Buddhist temple, the mosque. Whatever methodology controls you, you are still part of it. Your family is still part of it. Your friends are still part of it. How do you advance to dissolve this ambiguity? By thinking, by reasoning. See if you agree with me. If you participate in a religion but have been touched by truth and have begun questioning all the practices and procedures you have been instructed to follow, do not turn your back on those who once welcomed you. That would not be fair. It would not be right to abandon them in the ignorance in which they find themselves so that you may live your new truth alone. So how do you help your religion evolve by itself until one day it reaches the conclusion on its own that it is no longer necessary? Through the example of its most humble members. Because from its leaders comes only imposition and control, disguised as pseudo-examples. Look at the perfect example of Jesus Christ toward the Pharisees. The example for evolution came from outside and from below, not from within, and certainly not from above. You must first instruct your current brothers and sisters of faith, the supporting characters, drop by drop, in patient, ant-like work. Once instructed, the supporting characters will form a mass and gain the strength to second, instruct the secondary actors, those above the supporting characters, but below the main actors. When the supporting characters and the secondary actors join forces, the main actors will not have the strength to remain where they are. Because the majority, now instructed and enlightened by truth, will do one of two things. Either instruct the main actors, who then understand and become enlightened as well, or they will automatically withdraw. They will not withstand the pressure. Do you agree with me? What is your opinion? Think. Reflect. Is it a good strategy? From the outside in, from the bottom up. It will not happen overnight. It is a process of adaptation to the new. It is a process of detachment from millennia of heavy brainwashing. And yes, before being completely extinguished, some religions will evolve, from the outside in, from the bottom up. As in the valuable example of religious evolution that the creation of Umbanda gave to Spiritism when Caboclo Sete Encruziladas, an indigenous spirit, the simplest of the simple inhabitants of this planet, manifested for the first time within a Spiritist center, from the outside in, from the bottom up. He manifested saying, in summary, we also exist and we have come to help, thus demonstrating that Kardecist truth was not absolute. Spiritists already considered themselves at that time the most advanced religion and the closest to the truth of God among all religions on the planet. In his second manifestation, already at the house of Zelio Fernandino de Moraes, he dictated the basic rules of the new religion, with charity as the foundation of all its activity. However, notice the precious opportunity that Umbanda wasted right at the beginning. When the first Preto Velho manifested and was asked what he missed from the things he habitually used in life, he informed them that he missed his pipe and his tobacco, and on top of that, he gave a kind of pseudo-order that those items be brought to him. Instead of instructing him about the harm that smoking would bring to all those who would be forced to live with his smoke, telling him, for example, that here one does not smoke, they ran to fetch it. Instead of instructing him, they reinforced the chains of his slavery to his addiction in life. And so it remains, to this very day. But if you observe carefully, Umbanda is once again giving a valuable example of religious evolution. If you look, you will already find terreiros where no one smokes, where no one drinks, where no material accessories of any kind are used. They exist. If you seek them, they will find you. I know them all. Therefore, if you are a practitioner of a religion that does not rely on the assistance of spiritual mentors and guides, yet you have called upon yourself the mission of helping your current religion evolve, your mission, though great, is still smaller. But if you are a practitioner of a religion that does rely on the assistance of spiritual mentors and guides, your mission is doubled. You hold in your hands the opportunity to assist not only in the evolution of your brothers and sisters still incarnated, but you now also have the opportunity to help those who have already helped you so much, your spiritual guides and mentors, to evolve as well. In truth, there will come a time when religions will no longer exist. In truth, there will come a time when we will be one. In truth, there will come a time when I will be for you, and you will be for me. In truth, there will come a time when we will be ourselves, gods of our own destinies. Humanity does not need religion. It needs mental reprogramming. Congratulations. You have ascended to the next level of consciousness.